Assalamu alaikum, ahlan wa marhaban bikum. Welcome back to another episode in continuation of our series, Points of Articulation course. Today we're going to be taking the next three letters and we are still talking about the tip of the tongue, that is, Taraful Lisan. I believe in the last session we talked about To, Dal, and Ta, which also comes from the tip of the tongue, together with the beginning parts of the gum that is attached to the two front incisors, as explained. Now, this is also very close. So, we want to talk about the three letters Zai, Sin, and Sod today. Zai is actually pronounced as Zai, or you can pronounce it as Za. You can say Za, or you can say Zai. So the pronunciation Zain is actually not correct. Okay, Zain. It's not like Zain. Za, Zai, and I think there's also one other correct way to pronounce it. But anyways, so we have Zai, we have Sin, and we have Shin, and we have Sod. So the three letters, where are they coming out from? They come out from Taraful Lisan, also the tip of the tongue, with what is in between مع ما بين الثانية العليا والسفلى. Is basically in between the front, the upper front incisors and the down incisors. Okay. So when we pronounce it, you get it better. So let's start with the first letter, which is Zai. Okay, Zai taking sukun. We have example like was nun, was. You can see was. You can see where the tongue is placed. It's like in between. In fact, it is falling towards the down part of the mouth. Okay, which is falling to the down part of the mouth. So we say was. Try saying ta. Try pronouncing ta. Let's say but 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 you can see the tongue is raised, but when it comes to these three letters, for example, was, you can see the tongue kind of still remain downwards, or basically it falls in between the upper teeth and the lower teeth, or the upper jugular part and the lower part. Okay, so was. So basically, if you can pronounce the letter Z or Z as they call it, then you can pronounce this letter. Was nun. Very simple. And for Fatha, za. For example, zabur. Zabur. Okay. Aha. So, and we have it for Kasra, we have it for Dhamma. For Kasra, Z, it will sound Z. Kindly bring an example for that. For Dhamma, we have Zu. Kindly bring an example for that as an assignment. Okay. So, Za, Zi, Zu. And for Sin, we have taken sukun, Mashur. Mashur. Most people are likely to pronounce this letter correctly. Also, we have the sound already. So, except someone who has a natural problem when it comes to pronunciation of certain letters, which will be rare cases. But mostly, many people pronounce this also correctly. Mashur. So taking fatha, we have something like samaka, sa, as simple like as that. In fact, people would mistake some other letter for sin. For example, tha, alif, ba, ta, tha. We're coming there. Tha. Some people will mistake it for what? They would mistake it for sin. Okay, so which means sin, many people would not have problem with it. So samaka sa, if it's taking sin kasra, siderun, si, you pronounce it with the e sound, don't forget, siderun. And for dhamma, we have something like Sulaiman, Sulaiman, that is that. And then for third, for what? Third. Look at how I'm pronouncing. This is the first thing you have to take note of, okay? The pronunciation is sod. Is what? Sod. It is not sod. So the lips doesn't have anything when it comes to the pronunciation of this letter. It's just sod, not sod. Was wala do. You don't have to use, the lips every time you want to pronounce some of the letters. The lips doesn't have anything to do with pronunciation of most letters. Do you understand? You can pronounce many of the letters without shifting the lips. Ba, ta. Okay, ba. As for ba, that is where it is coming out from the lips. Anyways, but as for some other letters, sin, shin, thud, lod, bo, vo. You can see I'm not really shifting the lips, so you don't have to use the lips and say sod. So it's just thud. So when it's taken sukun, we have something like belth, there will be an heaviness. You can say, what's the difference between the pronunciation of sin and sod? The difference is because, or is, sod is an heavy letter. It has some particular attributes which makes it heavier. When you say saw, for sin, it will be sa. Mouth will be flat. Sin fatha, sa. Sod fatha, saw. There will be an heaviness. Sod kesra, si. But for sin, si. Sin kesra, si. Sod kesra, si. Si. You can see those changes in the mouth placement. Okay, so and Dhamma we have su. So sa, si, su. Sa, si, su. Definitely the tongue will come to the front whenever you want to pronounce any letter with Dhamma. It's just how it is. Bu, tu, ru. Your lips are expected to point forwards whenever you're pronouncing any letter with Dhamma. So take note of that. Aha. So don't take me for what I said earlier that but you're saying su, and the lips are pointing forward. Any letter with Dhamma, definitely the lips must be pointed forward, and it's a sign that you're pronouncing that letter with Dhamma correctly. I hope you get it. So Bals, then we have for Fatha, Sola. So and for Kesra, you can bring an example. For Dhamma, you can also bring an example for that. So the common errors, I've already said we don't have really much common error when it comes to sin. For Zain also, it may be pronounced a bit lighter, so we should make sure it is kind of thick. I don't want to say heavy, but thick in its pronunciation, as in Z. And as for Sod, also, I already emphasized this, I think, when we're talking about Dod also. So don't say the, you say Bo. Every letters. Don't say the, you say Bo. Don't say sala, sa. No, you say so. You say what? So. You say so, sala. I'm trying my best not to, put the lips forward. You say so, sola. Not so, sola. You say so, sola. But it should be heavy. Do you understand? So these are basically it. Barakallahu feekum. We'll meet in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.